My mom pays my rent.
Your mother pays your rent?
Yeah.
She would do anything not to have you live home.
Number 20. Free lunch.
The sandwich doesn't come with Italian dressing. So what you're doing is saying, when I asked you, well, why couldn't you eat the sandwich? You said, we'd like to put the dressing on the sandwich. You're not entitled to that.
Plaintiff Mitchell Ergenson sued the owner of a restaurant for vandalism. Apparently, his insistence that the restaurant gave him a credit for his entire meal because they once forgot his salad dressing did not go over well with the employees.
What kind of extra dressing did you want?
Italian dressing. A couple extra cups.
Even though he was wronged, his pettiness about the salad dressing ate up most of the case, with Judge Judy being shockingly restrained for the first minute or so, while she listened to this guy complain about not being able to eat his sandwich without dressing.
I couldn't eat anything.
You couldn't eat the sandwich?
Not by that time, because we normally put the salad dressing on the sandwich, too.
Even though he technically won the case, the plaintiff was essentially laughed out of the courtroom.
You want dressing for your sandwich? Go to the store and buy a bottle of dressing so you have dressing for the sandwich.
But it's not the same dressing. Their salad dressing has their own.
Some people will do anything for a freebie, including humiliating themselves on Judge Judy.
You say, I'm prepared to pay you extra to send me extra dressing because I like dressing on my sandwich.
If they said it cost extra, I would have been happy to pay for it.
Number 19. Beer equals fun. It's safe to say that most people try to dress appropriately when they head to court out of respect. And one thing Judge Judy can't stand is disrespect.
Mr. Gordon, that's a ridiculous shirt that you chose to wear to court today. I'm just letting you know that. Do you understand?
The least someone can do is put on a nice shirt and tie when they walk into her courtroom, but the defendant in this case calls that being fake.
Be real at court.
Hey, listen
do
to
you
me.
want me to be fake with
Listen
you,
to
Judge
me.
Judy, or
yes.
do you want me to come how I am?
You're supposed to be fake.
Well, her witness and husband decided it would be wise to walk onto the set of one of the scariest TV judges in a t-shirt that said beer equals fun.
Thanks, my suit's at the corner.
His smug response, coupled with the defendant's diatribe about fakeness, isn't so much edgy as it is odd and kind of uncomfortable.
When you go to a courthouse, you're not supposed to be dressed for the beach.
Number 18. No laughing matter. At least the defendant in this next case remembered to put on a decent shirt. However, his distracting behavior in the courtroom did him no favors.
I just left the bar and I was drunk.
What? Slowly.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Why are you laughing?
Judge Judy took him to task for laughing as he tried to recount the events of a drunken night out that ended with him damaging the plaintiff's car.
They tried to come at us because they were sitting on one of my friend's cars. I had the bottle in my hand. I threw the bottle.
Then you got to pay for it.
It didn't. No, it hit the hood of the car.
He's having trouble following what the judge is even asking him.
We established a moment ago that you threw the bottle at the car, that you hit the car, and that you caused damage to the car. You said, yes. Guy's drunk.
We can't say for sure what exactly was up with this litigant that day, but between his uncontrollable laughing and his outlandish behavior, chances are it wasn't fit for the courtroom. The judge gets in a few choice digs before ruling against him.
My mom pays my rent.
Your mother pays your rent.
Yeah.
She would do anything not to have you live home.
Number 17. The mother-in-law. Mothers-in-law tend to get a bad rap. The plaintiff, in this case, doesn't do much to help that.
She claimed I threatened to stab her in the back with a knife.
And was that case tried?
Judge Judy has no patience for people who stir the pot, and that's exactly what she thinks the plaintiff is doing by antagonizing the ex-daughter-in-law she's suing.
If it's not good for you to be around a grandparent, for whatever reason, either because they're a pot stirrer...
Not a pot stirrer.
The judge has no trouble sussing out the problem here.
She's a nice lady, and you don't look like a bad guy. You're quiet. You don't look like a bad guy. She's too involved in your business.
However, the woman will not listen to reason. She fights the judge every step of the way and doesn't want to take responsibility for her role in this tense family situation. Judge Judy's parting shot as she leaves the bench is classic.
Take your mother home.
That's not true.
Number 16. Fresh mouth. If you think Judge Judy's courtroom is the place to make some sort of stand-up comedy debut, maybe think again. She won't be afraid to call out your idiocy. The silence that falls across the courtroom when a man claiming to have 10 kids makes an inappropriate and borderline nonsensical comment about the judge's daughter is downright bone-chilling.
How many?
About 4.
About 4? What do you mean
Yeah.
about 4? What does that mean, about 4?
About 4 of them, including your daughter.
What are you talking about?
That's not a smart thing to do in front of a woman as powerful as her. His attempt to double down on the comment only makes things worse. What's remarkable is how Judge Judy keeps her composure while she dresses him down.
This might be your show, but this is my episode.
No. You don't have, listen to me. You don't have an episode.
And when she finally rules against him, the studio audience breaks out into applause. It's not hard to see why.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $411.17.
Number 15. Kicked out. Not even the crowd is safe from her wrath. That's what one poor audience member learns when the judge finds his laugh a little too loud.
Out. Did you hear what I said?
At least, we think that was the issue she had. Oof, we hate to be this guy. He looks like he just got yelled at by the teacher. You can tell he's in shock and appears confused and even tries to apologize.
Out.
Yeah.
It would be you. Out. Just go.
But it's too late. The judge continues on with the case as if nothing happened. It just goes to show you, the only one allowed to be unhinged in Judge Judy's courtroom is Judge Judy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Number 14. Rocket science. A dispute about a destroyed phone turns legendary when Judge Judy tries to explain how simple this case really is.
You felt awful? That means you pay for it if you feel awful. Well, I mean, it was...
The witness unexpectedly answers her rhetorical question about rocket science. While she isn't technically wrong, the fact that she replies at all is still monumentally ridiculous. And her complete confidence as she does so is almost pageant-like.
Rocket science is when the scientists find out things about space.
The cherry on top is how she second-guesses herself once everyone in the room falls apart with laughter. We feel bad, though. It sounds like she was trying to be genuinely helpful. Needless to say, Judge Judy does not need a refresher on what rocket science is. Number 13. Losers. Look, if you're going to insult someone in court, at least use a real word. Judge Judy sees through this young woman's ridiculousness right away. While being grilled over an altercation she had with the plaintiff, the defendant justifies her behavior by calling him and his friends losers.
What were you cursing at them for?
Because they're losers.
As if her entitlement wasn't enough, her innovative insult doesn't do her any favors with the judge. Even her mother is borderline red with embarrassment.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $4,000. That's all. Step out.
Somehow, though, it doesn't end there. The young woman has a few things to say outside the courtroom, too.
I don't think this is a fair justice.
This is clearly not her day. Number 12. eBay con artist. We gotta give this one points for sheer audacity. Kelly Filkins got in trouble over 2 cell phones she was supposedly selling on eBay. The plaintiff, who won those auctions, was shocked to receive 2 photos of the phones instead of the real thing.
I asked him for my money back, and he said, no, I've already spent the money on merchandise I wanted to get, and he laughed and told me to take him to court.
While her husband wriggled out of appearing in court, Filkins insists that it should have been clear to the plaintiff that she was actually paying over $400 for 2 pixelated pictures of the item she wanted.
The paper that she just handed you, that I sent her, that was part of the...
Listen to me carefully. Listen to me carefully. I want you to listen.
Yes, you heard us right. And yes, we know it's unhinged. Naturally, Judge Judy just isn't having it and really lets her have it.
You sent her 2 photographs of the cell phones. And you say that that's what she paid for, 2 photographs of the cell phones. Are we understanding each other?
Yes.
You're an idiot!
To say the whole thing quickly goes off the rails would be an understatement.
The reason your husband is not here is because he sent you here to the lion's den because he was a coward.
Number 11. Dumb and Dumber. The judge probably knew this case would be simple, but not this simple. The plaintiff accuses the 2 defendants of stealing her wallet. When she begins listing off the items that were also taken, one of the co-defendants decides to make things much easier for everyone. Hearing that she's missing an earpiece, he jumps in to state that there was no such item in the wallet.
I had gift cards in there, my earpiece, and a calculator.
There was no earpiece in her mouth.
He seemingly doesn't realize this is an admission of guilt. The judge is so amused she can't even be mad. The 2 probably don't even have time to realize what's happening when she promptly rules against them.
I love it. I love it.
It remains one of Judge Judy's quickest, wildest, and most unexpectedly hysterical cases.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
Number 10. Too bad, so sad. Judge Judy has little patience for this hilariously brief case between two ex-roommates, and things do not end well for the plaintiff.
That's not a case. So, sorry to tell you, we don't do cases like that because it's ridiculous.
Immediately after her case is dismissed, she starts sobbing as if on cue. If she thinks crying might change the judge's mind, she must not have watched the show before.
But I wouldn't have had a place to live.
But you don't have a cause of action by moving into a one-bedroom and asking her to pay the difference. That doesn't happen. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Her friend's reaction as she rushes over to comfort her is just the cherry on top of this ridiculous ending. Considering how harsh the judge can be when she's annoyed by a case, the plaintiff here is lucky she got off so easily.
Who are you?
Her friend, Natalie.
Natalie, do you have an apartment?
I do.
You could have moved in with Natalie.
No.
In any event, there is no cause of action for paying the difference between the roommate's half and your apartment now. Do you understand?
Number 9. Video replay. Litigants are usually on their best behavior in court. They better be, because Judge Judy tolerates no disrespect.
Your Honor, this is a video.
Don't. I have eyes. Just give me the date of the video.
When the defendant in this case brings video of the plaintiff angrily kicking in her door and wrestling the phone out of her hands, the judge can see exactly how the alleged assault occurred. It's a deeply uncomfortable moment.
Did you put your hands on her?
Did
you? Just a second.
Okay, after that video?
Did you? You kicked in her door. Play it again, please.
Kicked in the door.
Play it again, please. Kicked in the door with an attitude that was crazy.
Even though the offending woman denies what everyone can clearly see, she can barely contain her anger toward the defendant and even the judge. Judge Judy simply is not having it.
You had no right to do that. What, are you out of your mind? You had no right to do it. And there is no question in my mind that a person who could knock with that attitude that I saw caused this injury.
She has the video played again so everyone can see what happens when you don't control your temper.
I wasn't even home, Tiffany. I was at school.
She attacked me.
You're a liar.
Just a second.
You're a liar.
Don't speak.
You're a liar.
You see what she's doing? I know who she is.
Yeah, it's sad.
Just a second.
It's sad.
I know who she is.
No, you don't.
Number 8. Broken toilet. You have to be 14 different shades of petty to sue your friend for breaking your toilet, but that's exactly what this plaintiff did.
How do you think she did that?
She must have fell on it. Fell on it. She must have fell back, sat on the toilet.
But you don't know.
I'm positive she's the only person that used the bathroom that night.
Lisa Reed claims that her pal must pay for the receptacle because she was the last one who sat on it before it cracked. But that doesn't sit well with Judge Judy or the audience, who can barely contain their laughter.
No, all I want to know is, did you fall on it? Did you kick it?
Heck no.
Did you hit it with a hammer?
No.
Did you hit it with a wrench?
No, Your Honor, no.
It broke.
That this plaintiff thinks she's in the right for doing her former friend this way and trying to humiliate her on national TV is the height of arrogance.
You're not following me. I agree with you. The toilet broke while she was using it. That doesn't mean that she broke it.
Luckily, Judge Judy knows just how to make a wrong-headed litigant look even more ridiculous. Number 7. Dance break. We've seen a lot of interesting behavior in the Judge Judy courtroom, but we rarely see an interpretive dance. As Dr. Noel Howell lays out his case for the judge, he's very serious and respectful of the court proceedings.
Melissa had to leave for a number of reasons. The main reason was because Melissa was incapable of doing her work.
So when he decides to add an impression of the plaintiff's drunken antics into his testimony, it definitely surprises everyone.
Why?
I got it.
Yes, Your Honor.
His dancing and shrill vocalizing bring the courtroom to hysterics, and even the witness can barely hold himself together afterward. One thing Judge Judy can always do without is a dramatic reenactment.
Completely false and hilarious.
And the weed is too strong for her.
That I do not smoke marijuana.
She'll just take the facts, please. Number 6. For mature audiences. When Judge Judy asks the plaintiff in this case about her quote-unquote adult novelty business, she and the courtroom audience get an earful.
What is adult novelty?
We go into homes and hold parties for adults, with lotions and potions.
If the cutesy, suggestive names for the products weren't enough to make us squirm, the fact that one of them was returned without being cleaned is. Judge Judy covers her face in disgust, and we're right there with her.
The Eager Beaver, which appeared to be used, so that may have been used, but we would have appreciated that to have been cleaned up before she returned it to us. And then the Tickle and Taste was broke.
By the time the plaintiff finishes listing all the missing and damaged items she's suing for, the judge, the audience, and the viewing public know more than they ever cared to. Whether Judge Judy really didn't know what adult novelty meant, or she just knew the plaintiff's explanation would make great TV, we thank her for asking.
That kind of adult party.
Yes.
I didn't understand. I really didn't understand what that was from your complaint.
Number 5. In hot water. You know your roommate's bad when you end up on Judge Judy together.
So it's her apartment, the two of you were living together, and you moved in as a roommate.
This case deals with a woman whose former roommate allegedly poured boiling water on her while she slept. Even though the plaintiff repeatedly denies any illicit substances were involved, her own evidence says otherwise.
Is it accurate that the three of you were doing drugs that night?
No, Your Honor, it's not.
Is there any reason why you think that this officer would write this?
Yeah, the officer is a Fugazi officer.
The woman's repeated accusations that the responding cop is a
Fugazi officer
alone confuses the judge. But the description of her injuries and the revelation of her apparent substance use is striking.
That's what you told the doctor.
No, that's not what I told her.
So you mean the police officer got it wrong and the doctor who admitted you to the hospital got it wrong?
Judge Judy seems genuinely concerned for the woman's well-being, telling her that if she had been sober, the officers may have been able to arrest the defendant.
The reason that they didn't take you seriously is because you were so high on drugs that you were in an altered state. Do you understand?
Number 4. A special stew. This next dispute involves two sisters and one very unlucky deer.
She took your car, you say without permission, had an accident, you want her to pay for the damage to your car.
When the defendant, Carol Dettenheim, hit a deer with her sister's car, she did the only sensible thing she could do. No, she didn't wait for the authorities. Instead, she made a meal out of the animal.
What'd you do with it? Ate it?
Her sister, plaintiff Eve Dettenheim, says she declined her portion of the dinner. She explains that she didn't want any
rigor mortis stew,
to which the defendant takes immediate offense.
I did not have rigor mortis, so I went back. That is just sick.
That both women can keep a straight face during this hilarious exchange is as unsettling as it is hilarious. This is just another day for them. But for us, it's courtroom comedy gold. Number 3. Overreact much? In Judge Judy's courtroom, judgment can be swift and merciless. That's what plaintiff Caroline Fawcett finds out during this brief case about room and board fees for a horse she had leased to own.
You made one payment of $100, and you sold the horse to her for $1,500, which means she owes you $1,400.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Clearly, Caroline doesn't expect to lose this case because her reaction when the judge rules against her is the stuff of bad community theater.
We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
While she leans over the podium like she's about to have a massive coronary, the audience members behind her can do nothing but cringe at her histrionics. Some say if you walk the hallowed halls of the Judge Judy set, you can still hear her hyperventilating.
Oh my gosh.
Number 2. Tupperware Lady. All hail Tupperware Lady. She's a Judge Judy legend, and for good reason.
She didn't throw all of her Tupperware on
Yes, she did. Yes,
How did she
did.
Plaintiff Karina Roy's testimony includes a dramatic reenactment of a particularly savage Tupperware attack. What makes this one so bizarre is the clear disconnect between her spirited retelling and the actual events she's describing.
And when I'm down, she's leaning her whole body into me, pointing her finger in my face. How dare you? Don't you even dare. Shame on you. That's it. I want you out of here. And she hit my head with her finger. She had all of her weight on me.
Next. So what happened next?
It'd be hard for anyone to sell a Tupperware attack as a traumatic event, but Roy's wild gesticulations and aggressive finger pointing don't do her any favors. The studio audience behind her can barely keep it together, but the judge is completely unamused. Litigants should always remember that the only finger pointing and yelling allowed in Judge Judy's courtroom is her own.
And said, hey, and looking directly at me. And said, hey, the babies, as she's looking at me.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. A cruel plaintiff. Judge Judy has seen her fair share of delusional litigants, but this plaintiff really takes the cake. Wendy Moore's 14-year-old son allowed a friend to drive her car, and they got into a wreck.
You let your 14-year-old son drive the car, he says. Only on the property. I don't care if he drives on the property, if he drives it on Pluto.
The friend, another teenager, was tragically killed. Moore decided the best course of action was to sue the dead girl's mother for damages and medical bills.
I mean, do you honestly believe that you have a case? Do you honestly believe that any fact finder, whether it be a judge or a jury, is going to find your position sympathetic, Miss Moore?
That she would sue the grieving mom at all is bad enough, but the plaintiff seems to have no sympathy or guilt at all for her own role in the tragedy. The judge expresses her distaste for Moore's unfeeling attitude and sends her out of the court with nothing but a tongue lashing and a $5,000 judgment against her.
Instead of saying that, you sue her for the damage to your car. You're an idiot.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.